Hey, we are headed into a supply chain shortage and it is about to get real quick. So I need you to be ready. Let's dive in. The tariffs that Trump put on China, the 145% tariffs, they are already causing cargo shipments to go down by 60%. And soon, us Americans are going to feel that with rising prices and also empty shelves at the store. And now we are starting to see some of the ports, especially on the West Coast in LA and in Seattle, those ports are empty. Empty port in Seattle raises concerns of empty shelves in coming weeks. Seattle Times. Import volumes at the Port of Los Angeles, which is the largest port in the country, have nearly collapsed in half in the past 2 weeks. So here we can see the import volume 2 weeks ago was 120,000 and now it has dropped to 72,000. Many major retailers have told us they've got about 6 to 8 weeks supply of inventory in their systems now that will quickly dry up. And now economists are predicting that the tariff fallout could push the United States into a recession by this summer. So maybe, just maybe, we should act a little crazy and stock up on some things like we did during COVID. I'm not really sure when this is all supposed to take place. I think they're saying by mid-May we'll start feeling some of the effects. But as always, thank you for watching The Mexican Millennial. Don't forget to like and follow to stay updated on current events and maybe stock up on some toilet paper. Thanks for watching. Bye.
You don't have to lower prices if there's nothing to mark down. What a genius move. And he's actually going to be saving people some money because there's literally going to be nothing on the shelves to buy. Now, I hope you don't actually need these items in your day-to-day lives, but what a genius move. Empty ports, empty shelves, Trump tariff battle that he's losing terribly is set to hit home soon. By the middle of May, thousands of companies, big and small, will be needing to replenish inventories. Giant retailers such as Walmart, Target told Trump in a meeting last week that shoppers are likely to see empty shelves and higher prices. Apollo Management's chief economist recently warned of looming shortages. He knows something about that, doesn't he? It's just going to go away. Remember that? It's just going to go away. But this is what winning looks like. This is greatness.
There are no more ships coming from China. Reports from Seattle, Oakland, Long Beach saying their ports are becoming empty. Very few goods are still arriving from China now, which means the trade war that Trump has enacted and the tariff plan is going to start working its way into our wallets. We're going to see a lot more empty shelves. There are going to be a lot more pricing on goods because we, as the biggest consumer against the biggest producer, will no longer be able to hold the supply that we want. Therefore, yeah, we're going to start seeing the trade war actually happen. Regardless if you voted for Trump, if you didn't, this will affect every single one of us. It has nothing to do with political notion, really. If this is what you voted for, you are about to reap what you sow. Trump has started a war with the biggest producer in the world as the biggest consumer in the world, so this will affect every single person living in America. Take out all the immigration issues, all the other bullshit that's happening with that administration. This is one of those gas prices, grocery prices will lower on day one. We're at day 100 something. It is not lowering, and I don't think it will in the nearby future. So stay safe out there.
So the government's not going to openly tell you guys that the ports are empty right now. They're not going to openly tell you that you need to stock up on supplies and that we probably got about 2 weeks left before this shit comes to our doorstep. So China has officially stopped exports to the U.S., so expect to see empty shelves in about 2 weeks. Of course, not everything, but the stuff that we will have is probably going to be about 10 times the amount. Expect to see hospitals closing down as Hong Kong is one of the largest suppliers of hospital goods in the U.S., so there's not going to be many supplies. Expect to see a lot of layoffs. If products aren't coming in, that means truckers have no goods to move. Therefore, the logistics companies have really nothing to do. And then possibly hitting people who work retail, because if there's no items, no goods to put on the shelves, what are you guys going to do? And this isn't to say that things won't get back on track, but it is going to get ugly before it gets pretty. And if we're already not getting shipments, then we're going to get hit. And if China does decide to send goods, it's still going to take some time for everything to get back on track. So expect to see delays no matter what. I advise you guys to stock up on supplies now. Don't panic and make a plan while you still have time.
Washington people, listen up. This is really fucking big. There are no international ships at the shipping ports in Seattle right now, and the last one is scheduled for the 29th. That means that major supply chain issues are gonna start happening really fucking soon and really fast. Basics, household items, things that we buy every day that are from international areas, China, Canada, Mexico, Central America, like we get all over Asia, just we get so much stuff, Europe too, from other countries, and we are seeing no international ships. Shelves are going to empty, and we aren't going to be able to get those things back very quickly, and prices are going to go up like crazy, and small businesses, large businesses, all sorts of people that rely on imports and exports are gonna see huge changes, and not for the better, really soon. So if there's some essentials that you need, get those. But also remember, shop local, support your community, support your neighbors. And if you need to give money to somebody to get something, support the people in this area that need it during this time, because this is going to hit us financially so hard. Like, the consequences are hard to even like picture. It's so huge. So prepare as you need to.
One on the whiteboard, this is something you pointed out. Okay, it's something called blank shipping, right? All right, blank shipping. So I'm just going to draw a container ship. Blank sailing. I'm not going to put a sail on it because it's a big cargo ship. But you got a big cargo ship here, okay? Usually it's full of cargo on the top. Beginning of the year, these ships leaving Asia, 0% of them were skipping ports. They were going to every port. They were picking up what they had. Containers were full. 100%. Okay, now 40%. These are the numbers you're pointing to, Dan. As many as 40% of these ships, guess what?
That's
okay,
bypassing
ports. So
inventory is down 40%.
And ships have to go when they have to go. You can't just sit around and wait. So they're going with just a few containers on them. These half-empty, who knows what, from 0% to 40.
And just think about what it's going to look like over the next week, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And that's ultimately, that's why deals need to get done, because this is what business leaders from e-commerce, you know, across every industry are basically saying, like, time's ticking, and guess what's going to happen? Shortages, massive price increases, and that's where, look, we just talked about, for the U.S. consumer hasn't seen it yet.
No.
It's come, look, remember, it goes back to, like, it's like being on a beach, and all of a sudden, like, you're in the ocean, there's no water. You're like, oh, this is crazy.
I'm going to run out and check it out.
I'm going to run out. You're like, no, it's because the tsunami's coming. So the point is that the reality is that he needs to get deals done.
But because this question, Peter, that I'm trying to understand. With China, a deal doesn't just happen with a snap and a finger and a go. No. I mean, at least there would be nothing to indicate that that's how it's going to happen. But we're in a situation where if you look at the ships and you look at what's happening, right, that can be a blip. Only if you have an immediate sudden change afterwards.
The logistics I'm working with a guy named Andrew Sofko, who runs a company called Batch. We've talked about how AI is coming into the logistics space around trucking in the United States, and how complicated that is, and how important it is that every little check, the trucks have to be full, they have to be on time. All of that works. Think about it. When you're only going at 40% inventory, that's going to start. So the ship lines are going to be losing money. Everybody is going to start losing money.
You don't get your inventory, then I don't get mine. They don't get theirs.
Then if it opens up back up, those are all late.
And then you even talk about, you're talking about even like Christmas. The point is the supply. That's what we're dealing with.
And the retailers, those small businesses, and we talk about the stuffed animal company, they're saying they put in their order for 80% of their sales, Christmas, by the end of May.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's normal.
That is the lead time for this thing. And that's the lead time that's going to start affecting when it starts affecting food and all kinds of other, look, you saw that with Target and Walmart. Actually, the CEOs of a lot of the retailers went to the White House apparently to talk and say, this is real for us.
And how do you price it? because you don't know what you're pricing. And you've talked about that.
Huge uncertainty. Well, here we are, another weekend, and again, the market hoping, right? Because the market's
Sunday
saying,
night.
got to be a deal because the alternative is so horrific it can't contemplate.
Correct. And that, look, the market felt strong. You know, it was there was the advances versus declines were good. The buy side felt like it was buying with intent. So there are buyers in the wings, right? And somebody that must be smart money thinking that a deal has to be made because the alternative is really.
America is about to learn how good we actually used to have it. The ports are empty. Food isn't coming in. Goods are not coming in. Everyone who works in the shipping industry is saying we are about to face a crisis much bigger than the empty shelves during COVID. We have felt entitled in this country to freedom, to democracy, to human rights, to unlimited food and crap to buy. We got lazy and we did nothing to maintain those freedoms and those rights. We assumed that other people would do it. We stopped valuing our own education. We stopped reading. We stopped being kind to other people. We got completely hell-bent on having more stuff, on having more money, on having more whatever, having more fucking Botox in our faces. It's a false ladder that we were taught to climb. And I don't know if this current iteration of Americans has it in them to survive the Great Depression Part 2. But I don't know if we're going to have a
The shortages are coming. So far, Trump's tariffs have been a story about the markets, but the real world effects, they're about to arrive and they could be deadly. With container bookings down over 60%, according to the Flexport CEO. Right, and with that, he said that if the tariffs aren't lifted, we'll see a $2 trillion hit to economic activity, the failure of tens of thousands of American businesses, and the laying off of millions of employees. And this is the Port of LA is seeing a rapid decrease in activity. Next week, they'll see 10% less ships than last year at this time, and then the week of May 4th, 35% less ships. Also, trucking out of the port's already down 23%, and some analysts expect it to fall by 50%. And it's believed that the longer that Trump keeps the tariffs in place, the worse this is going to be because the tariffs on China are so high that they've been called an effective embargo. And so if nothing changes, starting around May 10th, a lot of US ports will likely become pretty quiet and shortages will begin. Because that is when the ships that would have otherwise left China on April 10th would have arrived in LA. Right, in normal times, it takes 3 weeks for ships to go from China to LA and 40 to New York by sea. So in late May, New York will receive the last pre-Liberation Day shipment, and then their ports will fall quiet for at least 40 days, at least from China. And you know, every day these tariffs stay in place, the longer it takes to fix the shortages. And in fact, you have some analysts saying that even if Trump lifts the tariffs tomorrow, you're still going to have shortages, and it could also create a bullwhip effect where the tariffs get lifted and there aren't enough ships to meet demand. But then also, you know, a surge of all these ships, it could cause the ports to get clogged up too, resulting in even less ships doing shipping, and this causing shortages and shortages raising prices. So in short, I guess in a way it could look a lot like 2020, which, hey, same president too. But for now, follow to stay in the loop.
Shortages are coming. The CEO of huge corporations such as Walmart, Target, Home Depot has had to sit down with the principal to talk about the devastation that it will leave this country. But not only that, they are warning that, and mind you, Walmart is one of the largest employers in our country, in America. And they are warning that the shelves will become empty. What they're saying is that they privately was warning Trump that this trade war and this market slump that we are experiencing with his tariffs and his trade policy could disrupt the supply chain and raise prices, which would also cause shelves to be empty. However, there is such a bigger picture to this. This will cause a hit on America by $2 trillion, and it will affect the U.S. economy. Now, what happens is empty shelves will lead to no sales, okay? With no sales will cause massive layoffs. With the massive layoffs will become no unemployment rate will spike, and then we will begin to see the recession. That is what is getting ready to take place. If these tariffs continue, shelves will be empty. Prepare your families. If you guys have not been preparing for the last 3 years, since the C in the number, we've been telling you guys that this was coming. Amazon has already spiked their prices on about 1,000 products across their site already. So it is already hitting and affecting your major retailers. Now, with this, it's not just going to affect those who don't have much. It's going to affect everyone. Now, the MGM Las Vegas is also being affected heavily. It is being said that they have been quietly begin layoffs to employees. Now, the business is slumping because of the tariffs and the trade war. Las Vegas lives on tourism. I don't know if you've ever been, but that is what Vegas is about. It's about the tourism. However, this again is resulting in judgment. The greed and the god of this world is money. Corporate greed has been out of control. Not only that, AT&T and Verizon is to pass tariffs on their customers, and they're being forced to pay more money because of the tariffs. This is going to hit every sector of our lives and every single person. The reason why the major companies, your major corporate companies are concerned is because the effects that it will have on their business. Once those tariffs go higher and goes into effect, it's going to cause for mass layoffs. I mean, nothing in shelves, meaning people are not going to be buying, which means a lot of companies will have to close their doors. This is not a small thing. Prepare your family for the empty shelves because it's coming. Number one, because the Bible has prophesied that it will be a famine. There are at least 3 major things that has already hit the headlines this past week that is confirming Bible prophecy. We are upon a lot of what we see in the book of Revelation, and famine is going to be one thing that hit this country. We must pray and trust God in this season. This is not a scare tactic. This is what we see, what is happening, what is to come. They've already are saying that a lot of the trucks, they're seeing less and less trucks in LA at the ports. We have been on a 30 days of prayer. The Lord instructed me last month to go on a 30 days of prayer. We are ending it on the 29th of April. And the reason why God spoke to me, the 30 days of prayer, he showed me that there were major things that was going to take place in the month of April, and they have happened. These things are coming to pass. And those of us that will pray and seek God and cover our families, we will be covered. We don't have to worry. We will go through some things. We will experience things. But we have God. We know that the Father looks out for those who seek after him. But these things must come. These things will happen. And regardless of people saying, oh, it'll never happen, we thought we wouldn't even be here. Y'all showed it. Y'all didn't know all this was going to happen, did you? Y'all thought all this is here. So prepare your families. Do not prepare your families. Don't take this lightly. As God sends warning through his people, listen. Do not harden your heart, but listen to the word of God and get in that book and read it for yourself, because things are speeding up very fast and things are happening very quickly. Get to them stores. Don't be overdoing it. Save some for the rest of the saints and the ain'ts. The ain'ts needed too. Get to them stores. Begin to use wisdom and prepare your families.
The next few weeks is going to get really bad. And you need to know that, because deliveries to the ports, yeah, they're dropping like a stone. Yeah, this whole tariff thing is going to cost thousands of companies to go bankrupt. It's going to cause millions of workers to lose their jobs. And store shelves are going to start, you're going to start seeing them empty in about 2 weeks. That's what's coming, just so you know. I don't want you to come on TikTok and go, no one told us. What's going on? What's going on is the ships are not coming. The containers are not coming. Trucks with goods are not coming. So when you go to the store and you see aisle after aisle of empty shelves, you're going to know why. Because this whole tariff thing has not been solved at all. And now, from this point on, every week, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Let me know what you're doing to prepare. Like and follow for more.
Your favorite stores aren't telling you about empty shelves that could be coming soon. Shortages could be closer than you think because of tariffs. As a business journalist, my sources tell me the #1 recession indicator to watch right now is shipping volume. This allows us to track how many goods are coming into the United States. And Port of LA statistics reveal alarming trends. Import volumes are down 10% in recent months. Port of LA projections show a 20% weekly decrease year over year. If these trends continue, we could see empty shelves by as soon as summer, and that could lead to a slowdown in consumer spending and therefore potentially a recession. So why is this happening? Why are companies pausing these shipments? Well, my sources tell me that companies want to wait it out. They would rather decrease the amount of inventory coming in hopes of that triple-digit tariff on China getting decreased via negotiations than have to pay those tariffs out of pocket now. This is in part why industry insiders are trying to get the president to budge. Major retail CEOs have been rushing to Washington to implore the White House to decrease tariffs before it's too late. And to everyone saying recession indicators are found in the lipstick index or strip clubs, I can tell you as someone who has covered several economic downturns that the #1 recession indicator to watch for each downturn is the one that measures the thing that caused the downturn in the first place. In this case, what caused the downturn was tariffs, and shipments are a way to track the impact of those tariff policies. Port shipments are also a way for us to measure when consumers like you will start to feel the pain of these tariffs beyond just what I see all day on Wall Street and financial markets. If you want to stay updated on this data and you want to get news that is sourced and not just aggregated from the internet, be sure to follow me.
So Walmart and Target just sent an urgent warning to America. Empty shelves, skyrocketing prices. It's about to hit way harder than you even think. At a secret meeting with Trump, Walmart and Target CEOs warned that these 145% tariffs are about to wreck supply chains, and not in months, but in weeks. Stores are running out of stock fast. Walmart gets 60% of its products from China, and Target 50%. And guess what? Backup inventory, there's only a couple weeks left. Shipments from China to U.S. ports have already plunged 64%. Orders are getting canceled, shelves will be empty, or prices will double. Everything is about to cost way more. Groceries, clothes, electronics, everything you need will either cost way more or disappear altogether.
You can't make this up.
We are also reporting today that a group of CEOs of the top American retailers, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's, had a private meeting with Trump on Monday. They had plenty to say, but there was one warning that stuck out. Empty shelves, they said. Empty shelves in American stores as soon as this summer because of Trump's actions.
It is that meeting in the Oval Office on Monday that we learned about, and other reporters did as well, that really apparently caught the president's attention. And I am told that business leaders, the Business Roundtable and others have been reaching out to White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and other advisors here, trying to get a meeting with the president, trying to convey to him in real terms the real fallout of some of this uncertainty, some of these tariff policies. And it was that empty shelves comment, we are told, that really caught the president's attention. Of course, you can see why. The whole idea that we would have interruption in the supply chain, sort of like we all saw in the pandemic, simply because of his policies, is something that would be difficult for the White House to endure. So that is one of the reasons we are told that he changed his posture. It's interesting.
So what Donald Trump has done is just given every single one of his supporters a crash course lesson in what tariffs are and how they actually impact them. The Democrats were right. We were telling you all this was a bad economic policy for Donald Trump to do. And it literally took the CEOs of those companies to meet with him and look him dead in his eyes and say, "Sir, if you keep this up, there will be empty shelves." And that thought made him realize that all of his lies were finally going to be revealed to the American people. Could you imagine him telling everyday Americans that egg prices have came down 93, 94% while the shelves are empty?